Thus, it is right to say that the career in law is not merely a path to financial success for some persons. It's not just about the money, not about making a living. It is a vocation dedicated to the pursuit of justice, the interpretation of societal. Your projection is not working. Well, with the structured parts, now we're looking at from secondary school to the bar, right? I want to say to the bar, we mean to become a professional in the field. Unlike many other disciplines, the pursuit of law in Nigeria follows a highly structured and mandatory routine. There are certain things that you must do before you can practice that vocation, right? In some courses, for instance, if you do, let's say, OND, right? After OND, you now attend one technical school, then you get some kind of training and certification. You can become a builder, right? You can become an engineer of some sort, right? But because the legal profession is first connected to the courts, there is no other route you want to follow to get into that courtroom, right? Just like the medical profession, there are precepts you must take before you can get certain things done. Funny enough, even in the medical profession, you have the nurses who are allowed to probably stop this to do this thing, right? So while the doctor is carrying out that operation, right, the nurse can do something. But while the lawyer is on the street doing what he's doing, no other person can except the lawyer. No other person can say, my lord, what he's trying to say is, let me help you. Who are you? I've been a secretary in the law firm for the past 30 years. My father was also my friend. You can move from there to the police station, right? Or to the cell. Now, so the party structure, A needs to B, A needs to C. There are no shortcuts. You must do it, right? So if you want to do like this, you want to check if it's okay, I want to pursue a career in law. Back then, the 100 level, they will tell us, when they say buy this, you must get this, you must wear suits. Who doesn't come cheap? The regular engineering guy will fold his handout, put it in the back of his jeans that he wears from Monday to Friday, one t-shirt, and everybody sits there to do with slippers, right? They will tell you 100 level law, they tell you 200 level, 100 level you do elections. So you join the fast, in English, in sociology, lots of people. Once it's taught law class of 200 level, you must do come with your black and your white suit. So I can't afford it to tell you law is not for the poor. Carry it, will, apologies. Right? So then you go and look for a way to. When you see throwback pictures, for some of us, we don't have a navigator or we're able to get some suits to buy them. We don't do one with the structure and all of that. But I see some people, we don't wear monkey wear jacket, suits. You know? We have this collection these days, we post them on the platform and if somebody can be chatting you, say, come on, let's see from there. The most was let people see where they're coming from. Now you're making math. Let's see why I understand. Now, the academic foundation. The journey begins with the 5 years of intensive undergraduate study leading to the Bachelor of Laws. That's what they call the LLB degree. The acronym LLB is derived from the Latin. I want somebody else to pronounce it because from time there's always been a problem for me. It's Legum Baccalaureus. That's the Latin term. That's where, and it means Bachelor of Laws. That's where the acronym LLB was gotten from. So the success in this field requires strong foundational O-level results, right? Especially in the arts and social science subjects, passing the relevant unified tertiary matriculation and subjects combination, depending on what you want to combine think I did literature, government, English, and mathematics. I can still remember I got my 206. And then the cutoff was 200. And I was able to get it. The university years demand relentless study, sharp analytical skills, and proficiency in core subjects like constitutional law, right? Law of contracts, criminal law, land law, law of torts. When we say constitutional law, what are we talking about, right? The Constitution, the fundamental human rights, my right to vote, my right to protect myself against police, what have you. Some of the election laws also are embedded there. So then they start to teach you some of those things. It starts to get interesting. And then you now have law of contracts, right? That's the best of agreements. Give me this your money. I'll use it to do business. Like February, I'll start to pay you federal government every month. We put it together, right? The law will always interpret parties' understanding and agreements. But what the law now does is to now bring certain terms and rules that will guide that agreement. So that you are not just allowed to say to enter into agreements that you like. Right? If you do an agreement now and say for this agreement to be binding, let us cut your blood, cut my own, listen together, I need to see. Can you present that before law? No. So the law is there to bind certain things. And you say, okay, we're better this agreement now. Give me your first song. By the time you finish paying, you write it down. By the time you finish paying my money, I come and carry your first song. But the law allows that. No. So even if there are contracts, agreement between two persons, the law is there to bind. So this contract has to teach you what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. That's why, we entered into a contract. 15 years later, you now come and say, see that money that I gave you that time, I want to collect it. Contract now tells you, for so and so kind of contract, you cannot come and remind that person after 5 years or after 6 years, right? Depending on the area of law. It is land. Contract says, this is what is driving it, right? If it is business, giving money, borrowing money, this is what is driving it. So, in as much as what contract does is to enforce the agreement, there are laws that help to do us, to guide, and control it. And then, of course, you have criminal law, right? I wanted to kidnap you, wanted to, what have you, attempted murder, and the rest of it. So, stole my car, stole my bike, and, what are the laws that guide this thing? What are the thin lines? What differentiates between murder and non-starter, right? So you start to learn those things. So what are those things that you must prove for a person to be what? To be guilty. In criminal law, they'll tell you that it is better for one thief. Sorry, it's better for 99 guilty persons, right? To go free. It's better for 99 guilty persons to go free than for one innocent person to go to jail. So what are those things that you should prove before you can say this person can become guilty? So you start to learn those rudiments. And then you have the law of torts. So we are already through some of the things that you need to be, that you have, the university will run you through for you to get your LLB foundational degree. You get things like the law of torts. Anybody has any idea what that's about? Okay. Some actions are tortious in nature, right? That's why there are civil actions. But you see in our day, you need to hear daily property to me have been charged with what? Criminal defamation. Right? you find a way to point it, to do it somehow so that you can arrest the person, let's criminalize it. But when defamation is supposed to be a tortious action, a civil act. You said you defend my name. You want to not tell my neighbors that all the loan apps they don't usually have notices, but somehow we're able to get notice and send the letter to. Right? They are telling me my guy is a notorious criminal, borrow this, that, like that. And I called the brother, what is this? So I was saying to me, I said, yes, doesn't know that. And what was the money? Money was like 7,000 naira or something like that. And the funny thing was that the payment was due by 2 p.m. that day. And by 11 o'clock, they started sending out receipts. And we did a letter, and the person went to go and hide. After getting the letter, receiving messages from me to the WhatsApp number they used to send it, the person now, they disabled that number. And now the man used block number and now called me and said that he's not working there again. I've left the job. That I forced the president to diagnose that I beg that I just allowed the right and told my them to forget it. So that's tough. When you go and publish, right, like various information against the person that you cannot substantiate. If there's a video of maybe this thing is not working. It's working. That's how you would have carried me from there. Alright. So that's the when they give you that foundation, that background, then you now start to look at the Nigerian law school. So we say I'm not really happy that it's not being projected. Upon successful completion of the LLB, that's the university career, where you either get first class, second class, upper, second class, lower, or third class, pass as the case may be. Right? Aspiring lawyers must attend a 1-year program at the Nigerian Law School. Lagos, we have it at Okwabaya, right? Now, for years, we have only one, but during a battle, we have one in Abuja also, and then we have I attended one in Enugu. There's one in Kano, I think there's now one in Bayelsa also. You don't know that last time, I think there's one in Bayelsa also. So we now have it in various parts of the country. Now, this is a professional phase.
Service leader.
Daniel, if you want to come, make it so manage. Whatever you are doing, make it come. Okay. As far as we can hear ourselves. It's a vocational phase focusing on practical legal skills such as advocacy, legal drafting, and professional ethics. Now, it is at this point you begin to understand the seriousness of what you are going into. And that will begin to teach you the ethics of the profession. School is, most of the time, for several courses, and like law, for instance, school is, the educational part of it is most of the time difficult than the career and professional part of it. Why? Because if I have to prepare a document to file tomorrow, what do? I sit in my office, I pick books, right? Except for the ones that I already have in my head. And these days we now have, I've done probably hundreds of these, so I just use the template and what I do. But the law school will make you drafts in the exam. Will give you a scenario, right? And ask you to draft the charge. That's for criminal law. They give you a scenario also, and they ask you to draft a writ. What we call a writ, or originating summons, or what have you. Those are the documents that initiate actions in the court of law. For criminal law, it's a charge sheet usually drafted by the police prosecutor or the state prosecutor of the high court. case may be. As the case may be. And in the exams, you now be asked to begin a life scenario and say, draft it. Right? So, people like us always wonder why. I don't ask me to draft it from my head. The judge will not ask me to stand and recite, but the examination makes me do it from here. But that is the rigorous nature of the training. Some of us need to think then that those things, those exams are like that, so that because many people want to win, they are not use the exams to, push out some persons who will eventually fail. But the truth is that Nigerians are very hard. We make it under very terrible conditions. Our colleagues who did not believe their results. So when they bring me this sort of work, when they realize they don't believe that these results. By the time I'm called, I already have been, call. So that's the Nigerian law school. And it's for a period of say 1 year, it's been like, for as far as reading is concerned, I've never read like that again in my life. I've never been that serious in my life. You know when you are serious, like, you know that you are serious. I think you want to, if I don't get this in my life, depends on it. Where will I go to? What will I even say? You can't tell your brother that sometimes I don't know to do this or that. Wow. Some people, families will gather money, communities. Till now, it's still very expensive. It's even difficult now. You must have a laptop, and so many other things you must have before you come in. The school fees have gone up. The manner of payment is different now. But like what it is to accept back then. So not when you get there, people that are mad. Now, I got lectures from a friend who told me that when it starts, I started from day one. That's what I did. There was hardly any day that I did not read. While in the law school, you now have a period where you are sent out there for real practicals. You have your chamber attachments, you have your court attachments. What is chamber attachment? That period where you tell you, go and affiliate yourself to the chamber, to an office. Then you follow lawyers' reports, you learn what's going on, and then after that you affiliate yourself to a court, a particular court. So what it means is that you must go to that court every day. The judge has a section for you guys where you sit down. Right? So when you go to court as a lawyer, you look around and see young law school students who want to misbehave and pull yourself where it's you that the judge needs to make an example. Look at people have been sent here to come and learn. It is not to tell them that they are going to be to this question. So but as law students, you sit there and then you learn. You can use that period to, after the difficult, you go and read class A and simply travel home, go everywhere. Before you know it, that period will be over. And once you come back to campus, it's the exam. So what's intelligent students do at that time? You pick your days. Okay, I'll do this tomorrow. When you are free, you finish. Look for a learning, you enter, you read. Because the time available for you in school is not enough. You take approximately 5 pages of notes in a day. Front and back, 5 sheets, that's like 10. And you have 4 or 5 courses in a day. 5 and 5, what? 25. Why are you thinking of how to finish reading on tomorrow? You copy again. Next tomorrow, the same thing. After the first break I had, when I was traveling back home, I bought extension from my hostel. The neighborhood was so much of completed structures, being used for hostel. Then I don't know computers. So I bought wire, extension wire, plenty wire. Inside town, come and connect wire from where people were. So the one particular one, that place was always lit in the night. So when people from where I was, you see the market, see people, right? But you see one place, somebody will do that, you see small lights there. When you get there, it's bright, people looking, get there. So you got to know you want to. When I come out, that means they have this, that's what I'm saying, but for you to come out there, come trace and come and meet me there at night, usually difficult. I had no fear, I had no concern. I slept less than 4 hours every day, every 24 hours. just to see that I didn't come back here. I always say that people are different, right? The Bible says, man, know thyself. When I know that this man is, that's why you don't fashion your style according to another person's style. Oh, I will play when the man is playing, I will play when the man is playing. But his articulating abilities are different from yours. You read for 2 hours and it's there. You know that you need to read for 14 hours. So what do? You start ahead. And that's what I did. So when people were to die today, I was done. Right? Unfortunately, the first photo of the thing, I couldn't locate the church. But one day we were going home from Enugu. I was going to the state. The reverend took a route taking us to from Enugu to shop, taking us out. That was like, so you know how our signboard was very hard. And we are doing kind of away. Like one small look the Church of Christ meets here. I'm not done over that. Like, so I'm coming back, and I came back. That's why, and when I look at us in this congregation, when you say, some other congregations, we don't give, right? I went to worship with that, but when I came back, I went to worship. At that time, people were no longer going to church. Those who were going to church would go and pray to pass the exam, because tension had started, too much play and everything. For me, I would go to church, right, and go and the first day I attended that congregation, we sat down and they did giving. They now called the amount. And I was looking, to 20-something people. I was looking at small. It's not this shop, I have 2 doors from moving door. Really, I'm back up. I was now looking, if you look at this day, I'm not giving to people. This day, people are looking for who they are giving this money in this small sector. And they raise this amount. Knowing where I was coming from in my own local congregation. And so that's the last week can be interesting. It's a place where they try to mold you into character. Now, when they give you orientation in the university, tell you that they are different species, you're not like the other sort of persons. So you go to the college, they tell you can't rush. You go late to lecture until you learn sense and put that like that and rush into the course. In the law school, they don't call law dinner. After the dinner is over, go and check the tables. A lot of the foods are untouched. Why? You have to, it's a score. If they catch you, they will penalize you. It's your fork and your knife. You can't put your bread in soup. You can't, they want to groom you. You see that the column that you don't have, they're not showing you where you're coming from. It is part of it. It is essential. So those who have gotten the information ahead, once you enter the hall, go and sit at the back. You will wrap their chicken inside their bag, wrap their bread inside their bag. When everybody is watching, trick your bread inside the chop. But those in front, with knife, this, that, they will not eat the food. After when you do, you start complaining. But what am I trying to do? To tell you that you are not like the rest. You understand? And that is what takes away from school, from all the training, and then the profession starts in earnest, because a lot is expected from you, from your clients, and then from the society. So once you finish that course, once you finish your law school, what is next is your call to bar. They issue a certificate that says you got first class, or 2-1, or 2-2, you have that in law school, top class as well, or just to pass. I can't remember how they grade it, but they have all that. And then you now be issued, they call it to buy ceremonial. And then you come, you take the vote, and then they give you your certificate, and then from there you can start working next day. Yeah? It means that you have been called to Nigerian bar. They now call you a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. When they give you that thing, they want to tell you that by tomorrow you'll be a millionaire. When you come to Lagos and trek, you now understand that there's anything that they did not tell you about the profession. Now, why do people choose law? I used to always tell my guys to listen and say, we have different mindsets to this. I know one guy, one of my brothers, and I wish I didn't remember that. I called him, asked him to go and say that he likes law. That's what I'm telling you. It's not his beyond finance, making a living and that. I have children that I ask to help me do certain things. When I see certain the peculiarity of certain matters, I call at time and I say, "Are you free to so help me go to so and so place?" He knows. I don't need to tell him what to do. I just tell him this is what it's about, and then he knows what to do. I know those who will go there and put their child and still accept them today. I'll call those persons when it becomes necessary. But bottom line, there's an expectation of you from the society. There's an expectation from you from your clients. So there's a level of decorum that you are expected to maintain. I said something which was up here. Intellectual stimulation. Law requires constant mental engagement. If you don't do this, forget it. It involves dissecting complex situations. Your brain has to be at work, right? Think on your feet. Forming persuasive arguments. Nobody will generate arguments for you. Your head has to work that way. And for it to work that way, you must have gone through a lot of materials here and there. So that when you see issues, your head just begins to grab information from here and put them together. If you enjoy debates, logic, right? For those of us that have gone through this, philosophy and logic, right? Yes. And then you need to reason in a certain way. Logic and problem solving. Law offers continuous intellectual challenge. When we did exams back in the days, they tell us that the formula recommended to us was called IRAC. In law, they can give you problem questions. Yeah, they tell you a man was going to the market, he was arrested, he was taken to the police station. They asked him to write a statement. He said he wasn't going to write a statement without his police being around. The police slapped him and the man fainted. The man insisted that he needed to pick up his phone to call somebody and the police refused and he put his phone and said, discuss. And he said, and a couple of people was there, IRAC, which you can still use even in your day-to-day life practice. IRAC stands for what? The issue. What is the issue there? What are the issues there? The issue to draw the answer is ask the statement. And then you start to apply it to the rules. What are the rules? And then when the story is being told, when you are reading, you are underlining. Right? It might be 2 pages, and all you need to underline, you need to get out of the analyze just containing just 2 or 3 lines. They want to know if you are being attentive. A catalyst of change, that is who a lawyer should be. Lawyers are essential to democracy, governance, and human rights protection. Whether fighting for the vulnerable, drafting legislation, or ensuring corporate compliance, a legal career offers a chance to make a tangible impact on the world and the society. You have the opportunity to see and represent the people outside making money in your pocket. And there is a professional prestige, right, which is what some people like someone like my brother Nathaniel, they like that word. You understand? That's why they say when you be titled barrister, right, carries significant respect in the Nigerian society. Profession is associated with discipline, integrity, and authority. And some people when you say, the law, and you see the man shaking his head. He said, one naira don't enter. You know? Diverse opportunities. While litigation, that the courtroom drama is most visible after that what people see. Right? The legal world has expanded far beyond it, offering high earning opportunities in corporate and commercial sectors. I did a job one time for 3 months, and it was from my house to here into a building on the 20-something floor for about 3 months. I got tired and I opted out, even though the money was good. What were we doing? We weren't going there to play. We were going, bank A was buying bank B. In short, one bank was acquiring another bank. And then there's what we call due diligence. If I want to buy a bank, this is bank, I want to buy it. Bank A wants to buy bank B. You need to do assets and liabilities. What does this bank have when I'm trying to buy? What are the liabilities that they have when I'm trying to buy? How do you know those things? You need to review their documents, right? They have 230 people that borrow money from them. Out of the 230 people that borrow money from them, we look at their document, there's no collateral for 200. Right? How are you going to get your money back? Right? Because banks will see, instead you're breaking the file, you look at it. Where is collateral? No. Collateral is a director's guarantee. Right? So you do that, you put your report together and tell your employer, say, okay, if you buy this bank, this is what you're going to get. If you buy the bank, these are the losses. You have done the job. What are you doing? You're working as a lawyer. Are you in the courtroom? No. Nobody's seeing you anywhere. The room where they were keeping us, you need to have your you need to have the pin. Just they are pin you and then the door opens again. So once you are there, before you come out, you will have to be very serious. Right? So that you don't go and carry documents and they search you before you go in and you come out. What were you doing just for that? When you submit your documents at the embassy, say I am the owner of XYZ company, you submit documents. The embassy doesn't just carry it and keep it and okay, fine, you know, all you need to do their due diligence, make applications to the Corporate Affairs Commission, write applications to the banks. They are there, you don't see building, you cannot see them come out one day, say court, once. But the money they have, you don't have it. Well, one shot, their accounts are giving your own is their begging clients in outside the court. Pay the money now, I'm not going to enter, I'll tell the judge, you know. So we have lawyers who are representing companies internationally, right? And this since after the advent of COVID-19, as I speak to you, they don't leave their houses, right? They are doing their legal job, they don't move anywhere, they're in their house. There's a movie I watched years back. Boston Legal. You can look at it and watch a very fantastic series. And there was one man called Hans. Hans was his name. He has this, he's afraid of people that crowd, he doesn't come out. Right? But you have people like Alan Shaw. If you see Blacklist, that guy, that's the main character. He was the main lawyer, and then he had another, those are the ones going to come. But he had that. This is a guy who was in the back room, all the financial, all the water. So the day he came out to say, okay, I want to be promoted, he said that he's not a people person, that he could not be promoted. The guy got angry. But all the intellectual work back, but they ain't good money. So that's how diversify the legal profession is. But then there's one thing, there has to be dedication to work. Law is really intensive. Students will grapple with voluminous case files, statutes, and legal texts. Long hours and standard, especially during academic years, and as young professionals, until you begin to have it all in your fingertips. The notion of the soft course is a misconception. Law requires unwavering discipline and focus. All through education and individual practice cannot be overemphasized. The usual rush to grapple for finances at the expense of learning agreement has its repercussions somewhere along the line, and I'm telling you that from experience. So you say, and I tell you, I lost a lot, right? I was already at some particular age when I got to Lagos, so let me come and start practicing. I started my practice in 2005. End of the year. My salary was 15,000 naira. 15,000 naira. At any age said. And he couldn't take up my transport. Right? But that particular place where I was working, my boss was tutored by Anuge. Right? And then he I don't know, he wore the man. So he was a lion, he was terrible. You know, but the money part wasn't there. And then I got a call one day and my mom called me and like, can you talk? I said, I can talk. Say, this is your work here, I want to see the end. I said, you do that now. So I know the beard. I said, someone asked me about that. And I I said, how they ask the question? I told her, so, with the plan to marry her. Yes, I know. You know? So I had to want to calculate that money. I want to, you know. Parents think that, this that was a turning point in my life. I just really didn't tell what I was doing. All the balls, all the everything was getting, the thing not became, I couldn't start to think that how long is it going to? So I left it and I went after money. I must tell you that I lost the lots. And that I have never gotten back again. Right? How you start and what you are exposed to determines a lot. So they need to learn, right? They need to learn and know it, right? So that instead of you looking for people who are looking for you, cannot be right. Say, who sabi do am? Call your name. Who do you think that, like I am now, right? When my hands are full, I'm like, okay, who do I call amongst my colleagues? I mentioned that when I just now. I asked my parents to help me appear in the court to the third guardian, and I gave him the case file, which another junior of mine did, because I was in another court. When Nathaniel read it, Nathaniel called me and said, who did this? I said, it's Adiola. I said, that angry boy. I said, yes. So you don't want to like that. That's Nathaniel commending what